Valve has just recently released their Steam Link app on the Google Play Store, so given the fact I had the day off, I decided to give the service a little bit of a test. Now, you can download the app straight from the Google Play Store if you're on Android, as I believe as of the time of recording, it's still pending an Apple review, as the first one was initially rejected due to the microtransactions within the app, as it's on a case-by-case basis or something like that. However, I'm sure that it'll be on the store at some point. If not, someone will probably figure out an alternative, so we'll just sort of have to review the Android version for now. So what do you actually need to take advantage of this application? Well, the general consensus is that you'll need a phone, a USB OTG dongle, and some form of controller, which is currently an issue we'll be investigating later on. You can alternatively use a Bluetooth-based keyboard or controller to connect directly to the phone. Once starting the app, we have to allow it to pair with our computer, which will automatically detect if you have Steam open. In this case, streaming from my main PC, it will then ask you for a code, which you then enter on your PC, and that's the bulk of the configuration sorted. It's a very streamlined service. When sorting out the controller, all you really need to do is plug it in. I'll be testing a couple of controllers to let you know how it works, but from here all you have to do is select Start Playing, which will then load you into Steam Big Picture, which will be running on your main PC as well. General navigation with the controller worked absolutely fine, and although there was a large green line down the side of my Pixel 2, this would often vanish at times. But it was something that definitely does need fixing and one of the first bugs I encountered. From here we can select any game we want to play, as your whole library is available. But one major issue I found was that no game supported the controller I was using, so I decided to swap over to using an Xbox 360 controller connected via a wireless adapter, which has been supported by Android for years. Now, this did in fact work better than I thought it would. However, this brings us on to our next set of issues. Although the controller support is good for the most part, when it goes wrong, it really goes wrong, sometimes taking numerous attempts at plugging it in or out, restarting the app, and endless loops of registering the controller to the app. I'm not even quite sure what that does, but it just kept on doing it. And then you have to use half-handed attempts at using the touch controls as well as the controller controls till it did eventually start to work. But for a beta app, this can definitely be forgiven. What matters now though is that once you've actually got it all supposedly working, can you actually launch the games and play them? Well, I did in fact try this, that's the whole point of the video, and originally it showed that the controller was working. I was playing GTA 5 perfectly fine from a mobile phone. However, this didn't last long. The lack of dead zones and the lack of actual ability to enable them in the app, paired with the minor latency, meant that it wasn't long before the game spiraled out of control and I had no idea what to do. But I think it's time we properly investigated the app and how well it handles streaming on a case-by-case basis, and if there is any way you can actually get around to controlling it. Using a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard to control the phone, as these proved to work fine, we jumped into our first game, with PUBG, which as seen by the pretty well done mobile port of the game does work surprisingly well with a smaller screen. In fact, the Pixel 2 screen on the standard model is quite small, and even then everything was fully viewable. The game maintained a solid frame rate while streaming with a standard 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi signal, with the PC connected over a Powerline Ethernet connection. During intense scenes, the streamed frame rate hovered around the 45 to 50 FPS region, but for a large portion of the time the game was running at a silky smooth 60 FPS, with a lot of detail present on screen and few visible artifacts from the actual stream being connected over the phone. Input lag wasn't necessarily bad given the circumstances, and the game was definitely playable, but the use of an external mouse and keyboard did make it a little bit cumbersome, as the game suffered from the exact same way GTA 5 did, where attempting to even use an X-input based controller when connected to a phone did not end well. As long as you're in close enough distance to your main PC though, you can connect a PC to that and use it that way, as that seems to work absolutely fine. Getting Windows Store games to actually launch was a pain in the arse in the first place. That required me to locate the install files and launch it as a shell through Steam, so that when I clicked play, the game would actually launch. But I felt that it'd be worth testing regardless, just to see the performance of these games, given that the majority of them have very well done controller support built in, which will be particularly helpful later on if they actually fix the control issues. Once you get into the game and add it as a non-Steam game, you can launch it, and the game ran alright. But given that these games are all forced to run in borderless full screen, as is the norm with Microsoft Store games, it caused an issue with how Steam was dealing with the stream, and the quality was fine as you can see, but the frame rate fluctuated from a nice and smooth 45 FPS all the way down to a measly 25 FPS, bringing the latency and stutter commonly associated with it. This caused some control issues and made the game seem far too juddery to be considered playable. You could try limiting the FPS at 30 to make it seem a little bit better, as it'll be fluctuating less, but even so, that's still not going to be great. The games added to Steam that operate without a full screen mode do all seem to suffer, purely due to how the encoder works, but I'm surprised it did work as well as it did. But there will definitely be room for improvement with these types of games. Not that they're native to Steam anyway, but it'd be nice to see them playable through the Steam Link streaming app. Simple 2D games are optimal for this type of thing, with the likes of Don't Starve functioning well on a small screen. Once again, I was close enough to the PC to use a controller wirelessly connected to the host while being sat with the phone, as the controller wouldn't work natively when connected to the phone, with the similar issues we saw earlier leading to lack of control, etc. But then again, a mobile port of this game does exist, so it's sort of expected to look alright on a phone as it is, in a similar vein to how the PUBG mobile app looked very similarly to how the actual PUBG game looked streamed to it. Both games had very clear details and you could see everything that was going on. I could see one of those clip-on controllers becoming quite useful as an attachment when it comes to these types of games and this streaming service, as once again latency wasn't too much of an issue when it came to actually playing the game, and you could quite easily get away with playing Don't Starve all the time, which is why I ended up actually recording 30 minutes of Don't Starve footage on mobile, because I got caught up playing it. But anyway, you get the idea. Games like this do work very well on the device, it's just let down by the poor control aspect. Breaking out the Bluetooth mouse and keyboard once again, which really takes away from the portable experience that was meant to be provided here, we have Rimworld, which was being streamed at a solid 60 FPS with absolutely no drops whatsoever. Definitely one of the best experiences on the streaming service, and I'm not just saying that because this is my favourite game. The bitrate of the stream while running on balanced was definitely more than enough to keep it running perfectly fine, with all the smaller details being fully visible. I did attempt to use the touch controls off camera, with a decent degree of success, but generally you need some form of mouse and keyboard to enjoy a game like this, as really the lack of accuracy on the touch controls really screws you over when you try and control it without the mouse and keyboard. But anyway, it's not a bad experience regardless, and I would definitely like to see the touch accuracy improved so you could get away with playing one of these simpler 2D games around the house, as it's one of those games that you can quite simply relax and play. It's not an intensive game, it's not a game that requires a lot of thinking, it's just a nice game to be able to play on a mobile device thanks to Steam streaming. One of the best games to play on the phone was Civilization 5. Which actually supports a touchscreen mode natively thanks to how it was designed for Windows 8. But really, that works fine on any touchscreen based input devices. This initial menu that the game requires you to choose what version of the game you want did cause some issues, as Steam didn't actually know which part of the game to stream, the menu or the actual game being started. In the end, I had to walk over to my main PC, choose which version I needed, then walk all the way back to my phone, as then it had realised which version of the game I wanted to play. So as soon as we'd done that, Civ 5 was up and running, and the phone with near perfect touch controls worked alright. But I say near perfect, as there were some slight accuracy issues which did get in the way on an instance or two. But I could definitely see the app being useful here, as you can walk around your house or sit down somewhere else and play the game. The smaller screen size isn't even too much of an issue here, but some refining to the screen accuracy would be nice. For my next test, I thought it would be worth testing out a different phone. In this case, I used my old Nexus 6 by streaming PUBG to it. And it worked surprisingly well regardless of where I went, provided the connection wasn't too weak. So here we are in the garden, sort of a medium distance from the router, and it's somewhat playable. I mean, it's definitely not great considering the lighting available, but in terms of the actual frame rate and the quality of the stream, it was definitely good. Too weak connections don't end well. You can't look at using this on maybe one Wi-Fi bar or something like that on your phone, as you just get a stuttering mess, a breaking up picture, and it's just not enjoyable. But with a medium length distance like this, it is fully playable, as long as you have a way to control it. Here I'm using a controller connected to my main PC, but hopefully as the app matures, a lot of these issues should be fixed. But even so, it's an issue I have with the main Steam in-home streaming service, which can be rather annoying at times. But for the most part, a lot of the games you'd expect to play on a mobile device do work well, albeit with some of those flaws. So my final thoughts. Well, it's definitely a good app even in its early stages, and the decoding quality for native Steam applications is brilliant. But there is some slowdown associated with Microsoft Store apps, which may be fixed in the future, as I haven't had this issue when using a PC to PC streaming setup, leading me to believe it's more of a bug than it is more of an optimization issue. But even so, when that's fixed, it opens up a load more possibilities for games that are ideal to play on your phone, given the native controller support they have built in, which will definitely be improved later on, I can imagine. But then you have to consider there are plenty of substitutes for most games when it comes to mobile devices that have already been made and optimized for mobile phones, as well as the fact that many of these choices come with options like emulation, and the fact that you're not really going to be playing these games that often, I don't think. I mean, I can't think of any situation where I'd want to play the game on my phone more than I'd want to play it on my PC. Admittedly, it does involve going to a different room and you get the luxury of being able to move around the house, but even so, that's why I have mobile games on my phone. There's the Oddworld series, emulation, Civ, all the games that work best with a phone are already on mobile devices, which is where it's sort of the issue of, do you use it with a tablet, which haven't really been popular in years? Do you use it with your phone and use it very rarely? It's one of those weird apps, but I'll definitely be coming back to it and seeing how well it is to use. It's nice for sitting in the garden, but then you have to factor in, can you actually see your phone screen in the sun? And if it's not sunny, why are you sitting outside in mild cloud or rain with your phone playing a PC game? There's a lot of questions you have to consider. I like that Valve is supporting mobile devices with this app, as it's exactly what I've been looking forward to for years. Being able to stream a full PC game to my phone, it's just enjoyable, and there's something curious about being able to do that. But it still does need some work to become fully usable. I've heard good things about how well the app works with the Steam controller, which may be something worth checking out if you have one, and if I do get one, I'll definitely be sure to let you guys know. But for now, it's alright if you want to play some games around the house on your phone or tablet, and you can definitely get away with it. But do keep in mind there's some bugs that need to be ironed out, some accuracy issues that do need to be fixed. But as the app progresses, I'd imagine these things will actually be fixed. So far things look promising and I've enjoyed my time using it, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing how it works. The performance of the decoding is surprising, and it's been quite fun actually seeing how well a Steam Link app adapts to a mobile device. Thank you very much for watching, good night. So we've reached the end of the video, and I'm just going to end with the uploads are still going to be a little bit slow for the next few weeks as I still have some exams, but when those come to an end there will be plenty more videos on the way to look forward to.